Hello, everyone. How are you?
Alive.
That is good to see.
Is it just me or does Kiara's background look like something out of a music video?
Yes, Kiara always has the best backgrounds.
Yeah.
All right, I made some co-hosts who then can make some other co-hosts, and we will get this started. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Presentation mode. Share my screen. All right, can folks see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right, wonderful. So I can't see the chat, so if folks will just let me know where we are. Okay, so we're getting started. If one of the co-hosts wants to drop the link to the slides in the chat for everyone, we'll begin. So we're getting started a few minutes late. We are going to go through the agenda, and we have a kind of coalition spotlight, and we have a candidate update, and then we're going to jump into working group presentations. And during the coalition spotlight and the candidate spotlight, we'll allow a few minutes for questions at the end of those sections. But during the working group sections, if you hold your questions to the end, we'll have a comment section. So let's begin. All right. So I'm going to stop my screen share and then just screen share my slide deck. Yes. Okay. So then I can float the chat up without you having to watch it. Okay. So is that correct that we're not recording the chat that's sitting on the side? You guys can only see the slides?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Good.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Yenny. Okay, so for new folks who wonder, what is this group, the Humanity First Movement? So we are the network of volunteers that evolved out of the volunteers that worked on the Yang 2020 campaign across 50 states and abroad. So we're working with Humanity Forward, Andrew Yang's new nonprofit, and we're trying to grow and kind of take over the country with the ideas that we're all inspired by. So our national Slack workspace has split into two. So there's the Humanity Forward Rapid Response Slack. And if some of the co-hosts would drop some of these links in the chat, since they won't be grabbable by anyone else. And that's where there's immediate volunteer action, calling for candidates, COVID relief, phone banking, all these things we're going to get into a little bit later. And then the Humanity First Movement Slack, this is building up the network of state and local chapters. So if you're a state lead, you'll be in the hfmovementslack.com, building up that network and partnering with other states to kind of take over. What we request and invite everyone to do is in Zoom and possibly out on the YouTube live stream, add your state into your username so that, or kind of drop it in the chat so we can connect folks, because the most important thing is for you to get connected to people who are in your state, who are local to you. All right, and then a question, is there anyone here who's new on the Zoom call that has never joined before? I just want to say hello and welcome. All right. So I'm going to turn it over to Massey, and he's going to talk about the July 11th action.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, cool. I'm Massey, and so I've been running point on this July 11th action. We've been working with Income Movement, Income Movement and Movement for a People's Party. This action was started and founded by the Movement for a People's Party to raise awareness about a variety of things, mostly around the COVID relief plans, as well as obviously the ongoing issues with police violence and misconduct. And so the action is a sort of direct to Congress attempt to let the members of Congress know that, we demand these things, we know where you live, and if you continue to take action, you cannot simply go back to your house and live your nice little life and enjoy the power and benefits of, being in that level, that we will make, life noisy and uncomfortable. And there's 6 demands that these were all sort of decided by MPP since we've joined on the later side and, didn't have the time to negotiate everything, but generally they sort of fall within the aspirations that we as a movement and organizations have been rooting for, but it's up to every person and chapter and district to decide if they want to what they wanted to deliver to the Congress person. So if you switch sides, next one. So there's 6. The first one is defund police and divert funds back to schools and social services. I always like to say people like finding out what you're giving them, not what you're taking from them. So I like to say defund police, refund communities. And then the next is Medicare for All, HR 6906. Essentially a emergency Medicare for the duration of COVID until the government declares it is no longer an immediate medical or immediate national emergency. So that means if you have insurance, it's fine, insurance will pay for it. But if you have co-pays, Medicare will cover those co-pays. And if you don't have insurance, Medicare will cover all the basic standard of care that you need. And you can get information to those, more information on that bill right on the links. And then the next one, I think that really got us on board was the monthly cash payments for all for the duration of COVID. Same thing, $2K per individual. With I believe 500 per child, up to 3 children. And again, more links to the bill, but again, that's the duration of COVID. And then the Paycheck Recovery Act, it essentially guarantees small business grants who have been hurt by COVID. They have to have fewer than 20 employees, not the 500 employees and millions and millions of dollars that they were giving out to essentially very big companies. And that ends once the employment rate drops back to below 7%, and a salary cap at $90,000. Next slide. And then suspend rent and mortgage payments. There's 2 bills in this one. It wasn't clear exactly which one they are fighting for. There's a House and the Senate one, and they're slightly different. I think the MPP has been leaning towards the rent and mortgage cancellation, but there's another one that was brought by Warren. But the idea is that all rent is suspended, and same thing as mortgage payments as well, and your credit won't be hurt for not paying it. So the idea is that small renters and owners won't have to have a bunch of mortgages that they're having to deal with the rent payments and that big. The only people that will really hurt from this is big companies who are used to getting millions and millions of dollars who own a bunch of properties. And they'll end up being okay. And then the other option is the government. Essentially, you can apply to have the government pay for your rent if you fall into a certain income bracket, even if you just happen to be fired right at the beginning of COVID and not like it's not by your previous tax return. So that's an option as well. And then the last one is suspend student credit card and loan payments. Unfortunately, I spent quite a bit of time trying to find what bills these were referring to. There's a bill filed just 5 days ago on the 1st that was about federal finance and private student loans, but I couldn't find any text for it. The text wasn't published, but there was one with a little bit more detail about essentially debt and essentially freezing credit card debt, and you're not going to gain any interest or charge fees or hurt your credit for not paying credit card debt. And that's S3565. So those are the 6 demands. And I know in Houston, we have bad COVID problem. And so we're just doing a car honking parade. There's July 11th, and the idea is get the July 11th going and then do a bigger and better one with more co-sponsors and helpers for the event on July 18th. And so let Congress know that, we will continuously be coming to them until they take actions on these demands. So we're gonna, in Houston, for example, everyone meets, we're gonna meet at a parking lot a couple blocks away and just, obey traffic rules, drive, honk by his house, have a couple people stationed at the right corners, telling, traffic to keep moving, and then have the list of the demands as well as any handwritten or printed stories that come from people who, getting kicked out, they're about to lose their place, how UBI has affected them, etc., delivered a box to the congressperson's door, and as well as, tape a letter of the 6 demands to them. And if they don't come out, and try to get them on camera if they do. That's sort of the general MO. Obviously, everyone is up to doing what they want, but that's sort of a glimpse on what we'll be doing in Houston. If you want to learn more, go to Movement for People's Party, July 11th action, and you can sign up there to be a host or just attend an existing ongoing one. Last time I checked, I think there's like 35 or so actions, maybe more already, but that's a briefish rundown of what's coming up this Saturday.
Awesome. Yeah. So check out the map and you might find actions near you, or even if it's not something that your group can participate in this weekend, these are great partner organizations in your local community. So were there any questions for Massey before we move on to the next section? All right, let's move along. All right, COVID relief. I think I saw Kimberly posting about this in the chat. So if she would like to speak, she's most welcome. But we just really want to strongly encourage everyone to hop over and we'll give you the link to, or earlier in the slides, there was the link to the new Humanity Forward Rapid Response Slack. So if one of the co-hosts can drop that in the chat for folks that haven't got it yet, or kind of put it out there for the YouTubers. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, but this COVID calling, relief calling, you can make a super difference for people. Most of the people who sign up to get the microgrants directly from Humanity Forward, they're able to verify their PayPal information and get it done over text or emails. But some people have trouble, so that's who you're calling. And when folks are really in a bind, $250 can really make a difference. The calling that you're doing, these people signed up for this. You are making their day. You're like a little fairy kind of appearing in their day to like give them some good news. So there's very easy onboarding. You just go to this bit.ly COVID caller training link, and it takes about 30 minutes, very simple. And then they pull you in and you're in a really nice, friendly community. We just cracked 50 consistent phone bankers, and these are all their names. And we just wanna thank them because they are doing really life-changing, life-saving work. So it's one of the most impactful things that you can do. Like if you want to pick up the phone and call someone and boom, you didn't feel like you talked to a lot of answering machines, this is the one. All right, so on to candidate support. So, oops, let me go back. We have some folks that are going to speak for the David Kim campaign. But before we get to that, this link right here, the movehumanityforward.com/endorsements, that shows you all the currently endorsed candidates by Humanity Forward and Andrew Yang. And a number of those candidates have also been endorsed by their local state level chapters. So for example, I see Blair Walsingham, Tennessee local state has endorsed her. Alex Morris and Robbie Goldstein in Massachusetts, the Humanity First Collective in Massachusetts has endorsed and is working with them, and onward down the line. I'll point out this one resource that's right here in the bottom left corner, this tiny URL/candidate endorsement template. Massachusetts shared their candidate interview endorsement process materials for other states, just like Dr. Jermaine Johnson in South Carolina. At the state and local level, a lot of these races are very affordable, very winnable. So this material is just for you and your states together with your local chapter. You can interview candidates and even just sending them the questionnaire and telling them we are an organized voting bloc and this is what we care about. You start to let them know that there you are and you care about these issues. If they don't reply to you, that's information. If they reply to you with a thanks but not interested, that's information. If they get back to you and you can have a conversation with them, this is the beginning of the organizing work that we need to do. So we just strongly invite all the states that haven't yet taken a look at that to take a look at it and use that great resources. So a big thank you to the Massachusetts Humanity First Collective, particularly Melissa Lynn for putting that together. And then this link up here, the tiny URL candidate support onboarding in the upper right corner, that link kind of leads you into the links to go to the rapid response Slack, and to that pipelines you into all of these candidates. Each candidate pretty much has their own working spaces and different races that we're focusing on. So we invite people, get connected with your local Yang Gangs and our chapters and the candidates in your state, or find a candidate that really speaks to you in another state, and let's get these folks elected. All right, now we're gonna pop over and let's see who's here to do a little about David Kim's.
Catherine, I can do it.
Awesome, thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Jess out in California. I just wanted to pop in and say that we are gonna have David Kim come on the call next week for our candidate spotlight. And David is so excited to talk to everyone. He's a really great guy if you haven't gotten the chance to hear from him yet. But we're really building a lot of momentum right now. Our biggest ever fundraising month was in June. We exceeded our fundraising ask, which was a really great surprise. We're recruiting text and phone bankers right now. So if you have some capacity to help out, please go over to our volunteer Slack and we can get you set up. The link is in the slides, and I also just put it in the chat. We'll be rolling out some phone banking soon, so look out for more information on that front. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message on Slack, or Christina or Kwa or any number of us. And we look forward to next week when you guys get to hear from David directly. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for Jess?
Yes. Should we refer people who want to volunteer for David Kim to your Slack instead of Humanity Forward Rapid Response? Or could we go either way?
You could go either way, and I actually am on both Slack, so if you want to refer them to me, I can help them out.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jess. All right, so Kimberly, I saw her here, and she is like one of the champion Humanity Hang moderators, and I wonder if she would like to speak about what that program is.
Always. Hi guys. So the Humanity Hangs, we have a lot of fun. Sometimes we have some candidates on to invite them to share the community with us, and have some fun with that. So I encourage you all to come on and join us. We meet usually on Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesdays are, 6 p.m. Eastern, Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, we get together, we hang out, we do some breakout rooms most of the time, and chill, relax, have conversations that get pretty deep or are pretty just not so much. It just kind of depends on the feel of the room. We have some amazing moderators. Rachel Davis is one of them. Thank you very much. I don't know who else is here tonight, but Angelo is another one. Thank you, all of you, for being amazing moderators and co-hosts and making yourself available to help our community out. And if you're ever in need of a place to hang, here's the place. Always reach out.
All right. I know Colleen is going to do a presentation about comms later, but wondering if she just wanted to kind of speak quickly to what they're looking for in their communications, content creation, volunteering.
Yeah, yes. Okay, so the website is on its way. We're going to be having a newsletter. So that's a lot of, kind of straightforward, basic writing copy. We also have a blog, so your writing can get a bit more creative from there. We right now are figuring out what our messaging voice is. So you can really pitch different ideas of what kind of content you want to bring to the blog. And for graphics, all the time we have graphics going up to promote, promote the phone banking, fundraising, COVID calling, events like that. So if you make graphics, join the content creation channel. So when there's a call for graphics, usually we're just looking for like the first person who can hop on and do that. So if you do any content, you don't have to come to the meetings. We'd just like to have you be there to answer calls for content. And finally, if you're on Facebook, it really helps if you follow the page, and when there's any posts, to react to the posts, comment, just say anything on the post. It helps with the algorithm so that more people will see the posts and be informed about the phone banking, fundraising, everything. Yeah.
And just a big shout out to the comms team. They're going to present later, but they're really raising the game, following all the state's social media and really trying to lift up all the good work happening around the country, and tweeting, retweeting, sharing, hopping on Reddit. So if any of those places are places that you hang out, comms would love to join their community.
Yeah, more engagement, and word can get out faster when we have more people available to post and to share. So yeah, come over, just introduce yourself at the comms channel, join the comms channel, just say, hey, I was at Sunday meeting, and then we can find a place for you where it's satisfying and effective and just the right level of commitment. Okay.
Even if it's just being able to message you on Facebook or Twitter saying, hey, retweet this.
Exactly.
Even that level would be helpful.
Yes.
We're building up the awesome machine again that was the online, the online Yang Gang is out there, and we just want to reconnect with y'all.
Yeah.
All right, so regional organizing, we have about 14 active states right now. We'd love the rest of you to come on back in. So, reconnect, go back to the networks and the places where you interacted previously during the campaign time, and, come find us. We want to get going again. All right. So just 2 quick updates from the interim board. We had our first meeting with all the active states last week, and then we're scheduling a second meeting, which isn't that far away. It's on July 16th, Thursday, in the evening or afternoon, depending on your time zone. And after that, it's roughly going to be every 4 weeks. We're not really going to meet if there's no reason to meet, but in the beginning, we have financial legal stuff to work out, and then our CRM, like our database of all of our volunteers, and kind of some tech stuff that'll come a month later. And another big one is tomorrow, we are meeting for the first time with Ethan Dunn, who is the Deputy Executive Director / Program Director of Humanity Forward. So anything that is not the Yang Speaks podcast or candidate endorsements, like that is his wheelhouse. Just make the projects, make the programs happen. So if you have any questions you would like us, the interim board, to ask on your behalf, throw them in chat. We will collect them and bring them to that conversation tomorrow, which is recorded, and you'll get to see the answers. So the new data dividend project, UBI trials, like anything you've heard, that Humanity Forward is up to, drop those questions in the chat and we will bring that to him. All right, turning it over to regional organizing. I think it's Lamont who's doing the presentation tonight.
Yeah, hey. So yeah, there are now 14 states that are active and 11 where at least 2 representatives from the state are active on the Slack and attend meetings. Louisiana has been added, which also happens to be the state where Antoine Pierce is running for Senate. So yay. And as far as we know, there are 5 states that actually have websites that are branded Humanity Forward or First, so anyone can plug into what's happening there. Let's see, regional Zoom hangs are still going on. We are looking forward to the joint Gulf State Southeastern Zoom call, and I'll put that in the link shortly. And yeah, there's no uniform format for these regional meetings yet. So for now, it's just like up to the regions to decide how they want to do it. And we're also working on chapters and developments, and you can check out our Google Drive because we have Texas and Arizona's bylaws in there. And so far it's just those 2 examples, but they are different because Arizona is an official chapter 501c4 and Texas is like an unincorporated entity. But if you're organizing, like doing things, building a brand, you might still want to have like some agreements on paper. So check those out if you think your state is going to get to that level soon. Would you go to the next slide, please? All right. We are highlighting accomplishments from the states. If you want to see what's going on in the active states, check out these social medias on here. And also, please share with regional organizing if you want us to highlight one of your state's accomplishments. And we meet every other Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern, and we are meeting this week.
All right, thanks. Back to Colleen and comms.
You're muted.
Okay, so as said before, engage in social media. And just to reiterate, come over to the comms channel, introduce yourself, and we'll find a place for you to be effective and very satisfied. All right, also, we've got the newsletter coming out. So for working group leads, this refers to how we have a summit we were having a summit every other week to talk about what you're working on, what you've done, what you need. We're dropping that down to once a month, but a couple times a month, we're gonna have a newsletter. So you will be checking in with comms to tell us what you've done, what you're working on, and what you need. We're gonna see about maybe if it makes sense, if it's timely to do a kinds of classifieds to publish in the newsletter for people who aren't on the Slack to see volunteer opportunities of what you need. And so this would be helpful because it gives you another opportunity for working groups more than that summit monthly check-in, because you'll be checking in with your own group to see what are we going to send over to comms for the newsletter. And as far as progress and attractiveness, as people are reading about you in the newsletter and the progress you're making, you become a very attractive working group to join. So there are all good things coming out of the newsletter to help working groups become stronger. And again, looking for people in the working groups to draft their newsletter updates, and then we'll have writers with comms like polish it and clean it up. We meet this Friday So come if you are very interested. All right.
And that would
Heather?
also be for states as well?
For the newsletter?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely. Yeah.
So working groups and states.
And states. Thank you. Yeah. I'll add that to the slide for the copy later.
And then just one quick thing before we go on to diversity, inclusion, and outreach. I'm pasting the YouTube link in the chat. We are 6 subscribers away from being able to put our own name in the web address. Please help us get those 6.
Yeah. Go to that site.
We need to have youtube.com/HF movement, not channel usage.
Yeah. I'm going to put the link in the chat just to make it that much easier.
Oh, I just
for you to
did.
go to it. You did? Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, great. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Is Kiara here or Heather?
Hello, everyone. My name is Kiara. I'm here in Tennessee. I'm here to also update you about what's going on in the Diversity, Inclusion, and Outreach group. Currently, some updates for y'all. The HFM Cares initiative that we first told everyone about last week, we'll be meeting this week, Kimberly, Heather, and myself. We'll be on Tuesday in the morning specifically in order to finalize our details before the first mental health oriented hang occurs. It will start out as a hang in the beginning. Our plan is to focus on group and one-on-one support additionally as the initiative grows. We created an optional post-hang survey that will allow us to continue to assess and improve the initiative. You can take a look at that and provide any feedback that you'd like to in the Diversity, Inclusion, and Outreach channel. Thank you, Lorraine. I appreciate that. Everyone, feel free to also compile into this document that I have linked in the PowerPoint slide here, some mental health resources that go above and beyond the role of support for volunteers. There are quite a few already on this list, but if you happen to take a look at it and you think that there's something missing, please feel free to provide it. The anonymized volunteer feedback form has been completed. It's going to work in conjunction with the already proposed volunteer feedback form. It is a Google form. It will allow volunteers to provide feedback about their experiences within our organization without having to sign into their Google accounts or provide a Gmail address, but they could still provide contact info if they wanted to. All questions in that specific form are also optional. And once again, I would just like to remind everybody that we have a new rural outreach and organizing channel that was started by Colleen. I have it linked here in the slide, so y'all can go ahead and join the channel and the aligned Facebook group. That's very, very important. It's titled Rural, well, it's called, not titled Rural America for UBI. It's a volunteer-led direct action movement that's connecting conservative voters on UBI policy, which will in turn affect the way that candidates promote their policies and what sorts of policies they have out there according to wherever it is that they are. They will be listening to their constituents, which is something that we think is really important. We need that insight. And one last additional thing would be that this working group now meets on a bi-weekly schedule. Our next meeting is actually this Thursday. It will start at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm looking forward to seeing as many of you all that can come there. That's it.
All right. And tech. I'll take this. We just wanted to pop up, there's some stuff that is in progress, like a super big thank you to Kim DeVong for leading the CRM selection process team, and Travis Klein for, you know, keeping our infrastructure going, and Thomas Habaker for helping Yenny build out the mailer light. And then as, you know, Colleen and Yenny mentioned earlier, our website is Eminent, and that is Aria, who he is doing an amazing amount of work. And so I'm really excited for everyone to see that eventually. But in the meantime, we just wanted to offer some services that we have for states. So if you have a HF or HFM branded state chapter website, so Humanity Forward State or like Iowa Humanity First Movement, then we will on our website just directly link people to you. So that way they just come straight into the states. Also, what we have are subdomain Google site websites that we can offer. If you look at that ia.hfmovement.org website, Iowa's website, that's just a simple Google site. They're super easy to maintain, super easy to change over who's admitting them for you. Very easy to train volunteers to maintain them. So that way you can just stay focused on organizing. So we can help you get your state abbreviation.hfmovement.org, pretty simple. We also have some options for states' newsletters. If your state already has its own newsletter software, if you use MailChimp or MailerLite, we can help with our hfmovement.org domain. We can give you an email alias and we can go through a process to verify that email. And what that does is it tells all the email servers in the world that you are part of a known, there's like a known human being whose credit card is attached to, whereas like with a Gmail account, you can't verify the email. And what this does is it means that for everyone who subscribes after that point, the email goes into their inbox, not into their promotions, not into their social. So your read rates will go way up. Additionally, we have an instance of MailerLite at the national level that Yenny and Thomas Hawbaker are building out so that states are the admin of their own people. So when they come to the national website, or if you set this up on your state website, when they sign up, they just get added straight in there. And then you'll be able to log in, have whoever you want admitting it, log in and send the newsletters. We're, as Yenny and Colleen mentioned, sending national level. So if there are states where there isn't an active chapter again yet, they'll receive the national newsletter when they sign up. So you can pick and choose when your state is ready to start sending the newsletter. So get in touch with Yenny, get in touch with Colleen, and they'll find the level that best suits what your state is ready for. But we just wanted to, share these as services that we have to offer state chapters. All right. And then these links here, which hopefully some co-hosts can drop in the chat. But we have two calendars right now, one for kind of national level working groups and meetings, and then we have a separate one, which is a community calendar, those awesome hangs that Kimberly was talking about. Like last, I think it was Friday or Saturday night, we were, watching a movie together, just some nice chill out time. The regional hangs will go on there. Some of the state level hangs will go on there. But just if you want to like kick back and have fun with the community, that's what's in the community calendar. So you can add these as layers to your own calendar, either by using the calendar quote email. If you have a Google Calendar, you can just add it that way and you can turn it on and off, or you can use those iCal links and add them into your other calendars. And then these are the meetings that we have scheduled this week. So all the orange ones are national level working groups. The dark blue are phone or text banking. So you see that Russ Cirincione in New Jersey, his election is this Thursday. So you go to our calendar, there are links for you to get in and join his phone banking. And then also, again, just go over to the Humanity Forward Rapid Response Slack. You'll also find those links over there, either place. Today, there was some COVID relief calling. On Tuesday, there's more COVID relief calling. And the purple ones are those community events, the hangs, and a big shout out to Wago, who's offering, I'm sure it's, he's out in Hawaii and he does guitar lessons on Fridays. It's 4:30 in the afternoon his time, 10:30 Eastern time. And yeah, there'll just be more things. All right, so that's the end of all the stuff that we have scheduled. Do folks have kind of questions or comments?
Yeah, I would like to comment. Lately, very often, Russ Cirincione himself has been at the phone banking parties. Jen Malman has been organizing and having virtual phone banking parties, all the time. So with Russ being on, it's super helpful that you can chat with him and check in, learn any like talking points. so that you're really well informed when you talk to a voter. And it's really inspiring how hard he's working for this. So hop on that call. I'm going to put in the link, the link you can go to for easy, quick self-onboarding. And yeah, come join the fun with it and get to know Rusty so good. All right, check.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming. Feel free to jump in if there's a question you still have. But otherwise, this just kind of converts to a hang. And we just kind of, at the end of a nice Independence Day weekend, just kind of hang out with some folks who we see quite regularly volunteering to make this happen. So
we got the subscribers. Woo!
All right.
We can get them out of the URL. Woo!
Onward and upward. This is how momentum begins. All right.
How was everyone's 4th of July? I like to call it Happy Tree.